Happy Sabbath again, everyone. I'm really happy to be doing the health nugget this morning because when I was putting it together, the Lord was just giving me a bunch of verses that goes with it. I was really excited to share them. So, what I'm going to be talking about today is just 4 tips to just remain healthy during the winter time. And it's simple things, but really powerful things. Let me pull up the verses in my notes. Okay, hold on 1 second. I can't even see my notes. Okay, so it's 4 tips for remaining healthy in the winter. And the first one is to stay active. So how I'm going to do it, if you guys want to take notes, I'm going to say what the tip is and the verse that goes with it, and then some practical things that you can do. And also, if you want the notes afterwards, I can share it with you. So stay active. And then Hebrews 12, verse 11 says, Now no chastening for the present seemeth to be joyous, but grievous. Nevertheless, afterward it yieldeth the peaceable fruit of righteousness unto them which are exercised thereby. And this is just talking about, as a Christian, the Christian journey is not always joyous, but it produces good fruit when you're able to go through it. And I took that principle and applied it to staying active. Sometimes it's hard to stay active, especially in the winter time. But when you persevere through that, because the winter season doesn't last forever, but for some reason that's a time where a lot of people kind of fall off of their routines. But if you persevere through that, then it will yield the fruit. And so some things that you can do to remain active is if you don't want to go outdoors, for those who want to, you most certainly can do that. I find it hard to exercise outdoors when it's cold. And so some things that I do is I walk on a treadmill. We have a treadmill in our house. And so I try to do that regularly. Um, Especially for me, I like to do it after lunchtime, kind of like a digestion walk kind of thing. And you can do that for however long. Gyms are also indoors, so if you want to go to a gym and exercise inside, there's an option for that. You can do some exercises there. And then if you don't want to go to gym, you can just use your own body weight to do exercises. Just do some calisthenics or something. And and even if you have like a place, if it's like in your yard or your neighborhood or wherever, you can just do like short walks around, and that way you're just moving and you're staying active. And that helps with boosting your immunity, it helps with boosting your mood, and it also reduces stress during this season. And so staying active is one tip that I have. The other one is eating well and staying hydrated. And the verse for that one is Genesis 1, verse 29. And God said, Behold, I have given you every herb bearing seed, which is upon the face of all the earth, and every tree, in the which is the fruit of a tree yielding seed, to you it shall be for meat. And so God gives us a lot of fruits and veggies that is fit for our consumption and is beneficial to our health. And I'm going to give some of the fruits and vegetables that you can focus on during the winter time. But I also want to start with hydration because I know that sometimes I experience this, and I know other people do as well. You don't feel as thirsty for some reason in the winter time, and it has to be like a conscious, intentional reminder to drink water and to stay hydrated. And something that I have done, and I know other people have done, is like you just set an alarm, like at increments, to just remind you to drink water if you're finding it hard to remember to do that. Or just have like somebody in your household or somebody keep you accountable for drinking water because it's important. We don't feel as thirsty, and so then we just don't do it. But staying hydrated is very important. Very good job. I see some people taking sips. And then something else that happens is that because there's not as much sunshine and we're not as exposed to vitamin D, when you can and there's sunlight, just absorb as much of that as you can. But some fruits and vegetables that you can use that are rich in vitamin D or that helps in vitamin D absorption Are mushrooms, if you eat that. Avocados help. Plant milks like oat and almond, they have sources of vitamin D. And kiwi, citrus, bananas, all of those help with absorbing vitamin D. And so you want to increase your intake of vitamin D during that time. And these foods also support immunity and protects your body from all the stuff that goes around during this time of the year. Also, you want to practice good hygiene. This is tip number 3. And the verse number 3 is 2 Corinthians 7, verse 1. Having therefore these promises, dearly beloved, let us cleanse ourselves from all filthiness of the flesh and spirit, perfecting holiness in the fear of God. And so the flesh usually refers to physical. So this is talking about cleansing physically and spiritually. And we know that that God is a God of order. He is a God of, we saw the example of Jesus when he got up. He even folded his cloth and put it all, neatly. And so we know that he values being clean as well. And so we also want to remember, especially for the littles, remember to wash your hands frequently and cover coughs and sneezes. And for the adults, to disinfect your surfaces and different things like that. And that helps to prevent germs from spreading. Because I know a lot of stuff, like I said before, goes around during this time of the year. And then the last tip is to manage stress and mental health. How many of you ever heard of the winter blues? Right, and I know that some people experience that, and I personally have not, but I know that it's a real thing that people go through. And so I just want to share here a verse of encouragement. It's Isaiah 40, verse 29 through 31. And it says, He giveth power to the faint, and to them that have no might he increaseth strength. Even the youth shall faint and be weary, and the young man shall utterly fall. But they that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings as eagles. They shall run and not be weary. They shall walk and not faint. And so, a lot of times during this time, people deal with depression, they'll deal with discouragement. But this verse just reminds us to trust in the Lord. When you wait on the Lord, He renews your strength. And He gives you the energy and the zeal to make it through every day. And so some other things that you can do is find relaxation techniques that help ease your mind. Also, you can connect. Community helps a lot with getting over the seasonal depression. So connecting with loved ones or finding some activity that you can do to keep your mind engaged. And the last verse I'm going to share to sum up all the things is 3 John 1:2. It's one that we're all familiar with. 3 John 1, verse 2, and it says, Beloved, I wish above all things that thou mayest prosper and be in health, even as thy soul prospereth. And so God cares about our spiritual health as well as our physical health. And so I pray that these tips were a blessing for you. It's simple things, but sometimes we forget the simple things and we need a reminder every now and then. And so I hope that it was a blessing. And if you are interested in the notes I'm willing to share, just talk to me afterwards and I can share it with you. But next up, we will have our scripture reading with Dakota. You want to use that one? You can.